In this brief video tutorial, I'll be going over end of chapter problem 6.3, found on pages 185 and 186 of your textbook. You can see I've taken the time to copy all of the information that's provided in the case example on pages 185, 186, and 173 into a new Microsoft Excel worksheet. All of the items that are populated are the numbers that are provided to you in the course text. It's oriented slightly differently. I'm choosing to orient things in a landscape horizontal format so that you can see all of the information on one screen without me having to scroll. All of the information here in black is the original information provided about budgets, so budgeted volumes, budgeted reimbursements, budgeted cost, etc. The information in blue are actual figures. Again, these are all provided to you in the case example. I've also set up this worksheet so that the question letter A, the dollar variance of actual to simple budget for profit, revenues, and costs are highlighted in yellow and in column D. In column E, I have the question letter B, which is to create a flexible budget. And in column F, I have question letter C, the dollar variance of actual to the flexible budget. Down here, I've also created two lines related to the variable cost per visit and the fixed cost per visit. If you recall, in end of chapter problem 6.2, this information was critical in determining the flexible budget, so we'll need to do that intermediate calculation to understand the relationship between variable and fixed costs as a function of volume. So if we address letter A, the first thing is to determine a variance between actual and simple budget, and this is a very simple equation where you take actual performance less the budgeted simple performance and you have a value. To calculate the variance of revenues, the actual revenues, compared to the simple budget, you would take the actual performance less the simple budget. And for the total costs, again, the result of this will be a 0 because the targeted value, the budget of 1.85 million, is exactly where we came in for our actual performance, yielding a 0 value. Now for the next section, to answer letter B, we need to calculate the variable cost per visit and the fixed cost per visit. And you'll see here I have a note to base this calculation on the budgeted variable costs and volume. That means in order to come up with a per unit price, we need to go to the budgeted variable cost divided by the budgeted volume. So we have $15. That means for every visit, it costs $15 in variable expenses. For the fixed costs, we're going to do total fixed costs located in cell I-17 divided by the budgeted volume. Again, it is $73.10 worth of fixed costs per visit. I have some additional comments. In calculating the flexible budget here, we're going to base this on actual payer 1 volume, not the budget. In order to calculate revenues associated with payer A, you need to take the actual volume times the actual reimbursement. Those can be found in columns K and L. For that equation, for payer A, it would be the actual volume times the actual reimbursement. And for payer B, it would be actual volume times actual reimbursement. This is just a sum function. The variable costs here, we're going to base this on actual volume. But remember, the variable cost per visit is what we calculated down here in cell B16. So for this formula, you would need to base it on actual volume times the variable cost per visit. And for fixed costs, it would be actual volume times the fixed cost per visit. And again, the sum function here. And the profit we know to be a function of revenues less total costs. And that would be our flexible budget. To complete letter C, it's the same keystrokes that we found in completing letter A. For the profit, this would be actual performance less the budgeted. For revenues, actual less budget. And costs, actual less budgeted. And again, you'll see here the reason why we have a $0 variance for revenues is that our budgeted, flexible budget revenue figure was $2.185 million, and it was the same value for the actual performance. If you look at the variance of costs, we projected, based on the flexible budget, a cost of $2,026,190. We actually came in less than that, which is favorable because we're talking about costs. Our costs only totaled $1.85 million, which is a difference of $176,190, but that is a negative number because we budgeted to spend more than we actually spent. And then the net result, or the profit, is $176,190, and that's because, again, when you look at actual performance, $335,000, compared to a flexible budget performance of $158,000, we exceeded that by $176,190. In the case of profits, a positive number is a favorable performance indicator when we're talking about variance analyses. I hope you found this video tutorial helpful. Thanks for watching.